Welcome, listeners, to Gamer Headlines' Spoilercast. As the name clearly suggests, Spoilercast is an in-depth discussion of all of the best and worst moments in a recently released title. I am one of your co-hosts, Chris Cortez, and as always, I'm joined by my other co-host, Adnan Riaz. And,
hello.
Yeah. And our guest for this week, of course, returning for this, this Game of Thrones season, is my lovely wife, Rebecca Kelsey.
Woohoo, that's me.
Yeah, it is you. So as I mentioned in as I spoiled in the intro to Spoilercast, and plus you guys see the title clicking this, we are talking about the fourth episode of Game of Thrones today, Sons of Winter. And this is, there's only 2 more left after this. There's a 5.
Winter is coming.
Yeah,
coming in 2016. Winter is coming.
So I'm not really quite sure how to start this off. I mean, I'm going to say my general kind of like feelings of this episode were... the thing is, like, I think I'm really tired of dark Telltale. I've said this so many times on this Spoilercast series. Same thing on the Tales from the Borderlands. But I'm really just enjoying Tales from the Borderlands more. So I kind of want that to come out more frequently than Game of Thrones, to be quite honest. So I was like, shit, like... We get, like, because, dude, when was the last time we got a Tales from the Borderlands? It was February, wasn't it?
This is exactly the point.
Yeah.
That's exactly the point. So, no one knows.
Yeah, I forgot. And then we got episode 3 of Game of Thrones in March, and then this month we get, the late March, okay? And then now late May, we get part 4, so...
Episode 2 of Borderlands came out in March.
In March? Okay, so we got 2... Right, I remember. We did 2 Spoilercasts. Yeah, so we got 2 stuff, and then now they skip a month and they give us this, and then maybe in June. I think in June we're going to get another Borderlands. So that's March, April, May, June. That's 3 months in between, man. Episodes.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy, yeah. But anyway, that's besides the point. Focusing on Game of Thrones, I don't know. I'm just not really... It's not feeling it for me. There's some great moments I enjoyed in the episode, but the Telltale in me, the Telltale fan in me, is just wanting more of Borderlands rather than this. So I'm playing this, and I'm enjoying playing it with Rebecca, because we never get to play things together a lot, so playing this is a lot of fun. But I don't know, dude. Aside from that, if I was just playing this by myself, I would probably be bored to tears. And that's not to, insult the creative writing team. That's just an insult. I'm kind of tired of this type of stuff. But that's kind of, like, my point. I don't want to take over. But what's you guys' like, kind of overall view on this episode?
Well, before jumping into the actual stuff anyway, I just feel like it's taking too long. And my memory is just kind of like lapsing with stuff. I just can't remember stuff that's happened. I don't, the nice little recap at the beginning is like episodic in what every game does. Yeah, but it's not completely helpful because I miss more stuff. It's like I was telling Chris when 2 of the Lords turn up. I'm like, who are these guys? It's like, oh shit, I met them in the last episode. Forgot about that completely. I just think that there's no structure to Telltale's formula now because it's falling apart before their eyes, and now they're understanding where like a huge flaw is. Because if I was reviewing this game, I'd downmark it heavily for how long the wait is. Because comparing it with TV, you watch a TV show and then you have that preview that kind of builds it up, and you never go back to that previous episode. Well, you can go back to it, but you never go back to it before the next episode because it's all fresh in your mind. This is the problem, because when you go into the next episode of Game of Thrones, you've forgotten half of it because it's been such a long wait. And it's already kind of like Game of Thrones, that kind of... it's been known for like forgetting in terms of how many characters. Yeah, it's very complex, the narrative, and there's a lot of characters' names, and like you have Mirror Foresters this episode, then you have Lord someone, then Lord someone this, and then it keeps going on. So it's kind of hard to keep it fresh, and that was one of the problems even before I started the episode. And I think I agree with you, Chris. Like I got to that point where I could honestly just put the series down at this point and not care, because just like it's taking too long. It's really, the pacing is off in different issue and different episodes. You can tell there's different people working on each episode. Obviously, the Borderlands stuff is kind of like messing up the interfaces issues here and there. And it's just one of those moments where it's like, you know what, I could drop the controller right now and stop playing because I just don't care. But I want a platinum trophy.
Yeah, dude, that platinum, jeez.
That platinum.
I'd be curious, dude, if they were to pull an Agent Carter in with Telltale games, and maybe I'll give you an example. Since Game of Thrones is 6 episodes, it would have been cool if maybe they had preemptively made a shitload of Tales from the Borderlands, and then halfway through Game of Thrones release a crap load of Tales from the Borderlands, then finish off Game of Thrones, and then release the other half of it. I know there'd be a gap in between both series, but if you have a pretty epic recap of half of the series at that point, I think that'd work out better, wouldn't it?
I agree with that, but I'd also say that it should have been pre-planned in the sense that April, for example, start of April Game of Thrones comes out, then Tales from the Borderlands episode, then a Game of Thrones episode, then each month you keep rotating.
Get 2, yeah.
Yeah, and then the final episode could be Game of Thrones if you have 6, and you have 5 in the other one. I think the traditional 5-episode format works better. I don't know why this is 6 episodes. I'm still kind of a little bit...
Yeah, I feel like it was just because it was such a huge franchise. They're like, people will buy 6. But I really think it all could have been summarized a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where, adding on to that point, Becca, you kind of find the pacing issues in places where you're doing a certain storyline, it's just slowing the hell down. It automatically just flies back up into a fast-paced kind of environment. I think that's a huge issue. I just think that continuity-wise, it kind of needs to be all on set. Again, it's going back to Life is Strange for me. I'm playing it and I remember stuff. I don't need to go back. And I just don't feel like that feeling where I want to go and replay an episode because my choices are set. I have those choices set. I just want to go straight to the next episode and see what the outcome are.
Yeah.
Or what the outcome is.
Actually, that's it, because that's interesting. Me and you, dude, we're playing 2 series, and it's kind of hard to keep up with it, with the cutting back and forth and whatnot, and the delays and all that. Becca, on your point of view, because I don't think I've ever asked you this question off podcast, what's your take on this? You're just following Game of Thrones, so you got 1 episode in December of last year, you got the 2nd one in February, the 3rd one in March, and then the 4th one this month. Is the story, are you keeping up with it, or are you getting confused also? And you're just following one series?
Well, I still get confused, but I think just because it's Game of Thrones and there's just a lot of little tiny details that change the whole story. But I do kind of remember the overall arc of a character. But still, with the TV show, I'll only remember the character's name if I've encountered them a lot in the books. I just finished book 2. So reading the books is the only way I've actually been able to really grab the characters' names and who they're about, which I just think is interesting. And I haven't run into... I know the Foresters are supposed to be mentioned briefly in the books, but I haven't run into them yet.
Okay, I get it. So since they're not, prominent... The Telltale exclusive stuff, it's kind of hard. The details are muddy for you.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay. So, yeah, we're all on the same page then. Regardless of how many Telltale game series you're playing. Throw in Minecraft, we'd still be fucking confused, so...
Well, also, though, when I was watching you play the Back to the Future games, that I totally followed easily. But that's only, a few movies that we've seen dozens of times. I feel like with a TV show, it's always harder for me.
Yeah, I could see that. Plus, this is a bigger story. It's a lot more complex. I mean, Back to the Future, I think, was a pretty...
That's that's old Telltale.
Yeah, that's R.I.P., dude. That was pre-Walking Dead Telltale when they did Sam and Max, and I actually like Sam and Max a lot. I would recommend. I think it was a plus game at one point. All right. Well, I guess we should move on into the actual details and what happened during it. What do you guys think of? I kind of gave my impressions overall earlier, but what was something that stood out for you guys during this episode?
Well, one thing that lacked for me is usually Mira is my favorite. I just love Mira. But this time I found her totally boring and she didn't have much to do at all. I feel like her arc could have been totally closed in maybe even 3 episodes if they had given her more time. Versus usually she's always the shortest chapters. And this time I liked Roderick so much more.
Oh my god.
So for me it was a total opposite.
Could not agree with that anymore. That's perfect.
Dude, actually, Adnan, I was cracking up and / getting pissed off while I was playing it, because during the Mira parts, I felt like no matter what you did, you got the same outcome.
Oh yeah,
And it
a
was,
lot
I
less
kept
choice.
thinking of like what Adnan said, where it's like it's an illusion of free will. It's like
It is like you are in limbo, and you keep walking through that same. It's like PT walking down that same door. And it just keep happening. The scenarios. Yeah, I agree with you because I even went earlier today. I went and played it again, but I automatically generated 4 episodes worth of choices and just went into it, and I got the one where I don't get the alliance with Elena. And then, like, I kind of saw the scenarios. I was like, this is illusion of choice. This is literally, if I do nothing, it will still lead to that final outcome.
Yeah.
I'm like, just like waiting to throw my controls, like, do something imaginative. Like, this is. But I agree with Becca. That Mirror Forrester storyline is ridiculous. That garden part was just so fucking boring. Because, like, that's where, like, as you said, in 3 episodes, you can do Mirror's storyline. That's where the story just halts really fast. Like, it just grounds to a sudden halt, and the pacing goes way off.
And then help the marriage, though.
That is
like,
very,
do it,
the marriage alliance is finally happening.
Well, in the TV show too. Now Daenerys is getting married. I mean, we don't know if it'll actually happen, but marriage alliances are important.
Yeah. I like how he's wondering if she's a. I wonder if he's wondering if she's a bastard. I bet even if you said yes, you'd still go marry her. That's what it is. And Telltale game, it'll lead to that same outcome. Yeah, that was just boring. I think there was just some points where the Mirror Forrester storyline was just kind of all over the place, and then like they kind of zap the interesting parts out of it. I just feel like it's kind of slowing down. But the Roderick storyline was where it's like bang on point. I was like, there we go. His storyline is really hitting its stride.
Oh, dude, when you pulled out your trump card and you're like, we have your son. And it was like, whoa! Like, he stood down so hard. Who was the other guy again? It was Royland, was it, or no?
It depends on your sense.
And Ramsey.
Oh, no, Duncan was with me.
Yeah.
I had Duncan.
Because Kaz, man, come on. It's Kaz. It's Game of Thrones Kaz, as far as I'm concerned. But what's it called? But who was the guy you were arguing with? I forgot all these people's names. Whitehill,
Lord
right? Always a Whitehill. Yeah, that guy, man. Like, you put him in his place. I mean, he was still kind of being a dick, but did you call his bluff, dude?
Yep.
Yeah, dude, we did the same thing, and I'm like, yeah, aggressive.
I love when I just love when you get the choice where it's like you can play the card, your trump card, and it's like, oh yes, here we go.
But then they have to like take that away from you by having the guy who de-virginized Salsa Spark. That's a Becca reference. Sansa Stark.
Ramsey.
Ramsey. I always forget these people's names. Remember, I started off in like 2 seasons ago, guys, so I'm not down with the Thrones quite yet.
Yeah, it's forgivable.
I just have the Wikipedia open.
Oh, well, you're smarter.
His storyline was where it felt like Game of Thrones and not something else, because it felt like I was Robb Stark almost, because like when he asks you if you can leave your soldiers at Ironrath or you can take them with you, that's where the kind of Game of Thrones scenario comes up. It's like, I'm walking into a trap and I can take on my soldiers and leave my own homeland kind of like open, or I can leave soldiers defending here and walk into a trap. Like, is that kind of like, it was really...
Either way, the soldiers sucked, apparently.
Yeah, they did fucking suck. You turn up and no one's there. It's like, oh, well, fucking well done, mate. We are 20.
Well, there was blood everywhere. I imagine they're dead.
Yeah, I think so, too. Yeah, so, wait, Adnan, you left them there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we did, too. So, like, we both got screwed in the end. I'd be curious what happens if you took them.
I think that ending...
Same thing still would have happened, because Griff would have nothing... not Griff, Ramsey would have no one in his way.
Oh, that's true. So, yeah. He probably would have been like, stay outside, I'm going to go check it out, or something like that.
I think that ending as well, with Ramsey sitting at the table with your sister, and it's just really fucking creepy. I'm like, that's really good.
Yeah.
Like, get away from the little girl.
I hate him right now. I really don't like him because of what he did.
I even like how they reference the books and show where he's like, where he turns around to Whitehill and he's like, I hope, where you can even say like, I picked this choice where he says, I hope Ramsay flays you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I even said that to him. I was like, oh, it's quite cool that they kind of got that mix and blend in there. I think they got really kind of. I wish Ramsay Snow was in it a bit more, because man, he is.
He was very.
Like he's a steal of season 5 so far in the shows. Mm-hmm. But I even liked. I was talking to Chris about this when I was beating up Griff in the hall. because that kind of killed my theory that the Maester was the insider, which I was a bit disappointed with, because I thought he was the spy on you, but he's clearly not, because he's getting beaten up by Griff. But when I went in there, I was like, yes, I can beat him up. I was like, bastard! Like, I've knocked both of his eyes out, and then dragged him off to the cellar. I like how you were like, I went and put him in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says on your thing, dude, your choices, it says you and 66.2% maimed Griff. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, for us, it's you and 38.6% showed mercy to Griff. Because we basically were like, we gotcha! And then we threw him away, like, lock and key.
I was playing...
I was worried that Elena would be like, "Oh, you're so soft," by us not beating him up.
Yeah, she just jumps around.
She just can't make up her mind.
Yeah,
I thought you guys messed that up. My marriage alliance is going fine with Elena.
No, we're screwed, dude. We're screwed.
She's already.
Well, I think she's going to marry us now. Now that she's not going to have to marry Griff.
It's illusion of free will. Like, no matter what, I think a marriage will happen. Because, dude, the second she's like, "Ooh, I like you now," I'm like, "Damn it, Adnan was right. Like, this is all bullshit."
Yeah,
this is bullshit. Die.
Yeah, she's like, "Save me from this horrible marriage, and maybe we can get married again." We used to play as children. Oh, it was so fun.
And it's like, oh, go to hell. Go to hell.
Do you know that point where, like, the dialogue in this episode, I was like cringy at one point? That was one where she's like, "We can play hide and seek again." I was like, just be clear with the metaphor. This is not PG. We know what you mean.
Totally. I was like, you mean you played doctor, huh?
Yeah, doctor.
That should have been an option. Do you want to play doctor instead?
Maester.
Yeah, do you want to play Maester instead?
Yeah.
Maester and Patient.
Oh, man. That'd be great.
Someone bring along the wildfire.
What else? Yeah, dude, I think we both... I'm looking at our choices, actually, to bring up topics. We both kept Sarah's secret from Tarwick.
Yeah, I didn't want to be a bastard.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
Yeah, we're like, come on, man. She trusts us with that shit. Let's not be like a cock block. If he wants her, he can have her.
What I thought was interesting is the whole time we were talking to that guy, you could always twist it to either favor Sarah or basically make him flirt with you. So I wonder if he was flirting with you, what he would say about Sarah.
That's
like in the beginning, she's like, "Oh, you flatter me," or no, Sarah is so much prettier than me. Like, there's always an option to make yourself look better or make her look better.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be something like a character where they're kind of going to throw him in the twist, because he even says, like, "Are you looking for a husband around here?" He's flirting from the beginning.
Yeah,
totally.
And you can clearly tell that's going to weave into a storyline where it's going to throw a fight between Sarah and yourself, Mira Forrester.
Yeah. And then they'll have that moment where it's like, even though you said you were pretty, I was prettier than you, blah, 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 blah. And then the game will quickly load to the next choice. Like, have you ever seen those moments where, like, you could tell the game's loading the data, and it kind of takes you out, and you're like, ugh.
You can tell because it's slowly slowed down. It's like someone noticed that. It's like in the corner when the text comes up, like, someone remember that. You're like, okay, the game was slowing down there. But
it doesn't have the same meaning anymore.
Yeah, Becca and I were talking about that, where I don't really use that to I'm just like, oh, well, I guess that'll come up again. Like, it's not like I'm using it strategically or anything.
Exactly, definitely. Well, yeah, those two storylines, I agree with Becca from the beginning. Like, the switch from episode 3 is ridiculous of how one storyline is now better than the other, and the other one's just kind of sank to the point where they could have just ended it. Because there's no Tyrion either. Like, it would have been more interesting to see Mira go down to, like, sneak into the King's Landing, like, jail cells and try and find Tyrion.
Actually,
or try and find...
I was going to ask you guys about that. I'm confused where we are timeline-wise. What's going on?
Tommen is technically now king with episode 4 finished. Because when you're in that garden with Sarah and the other lords, that's when Tommen's coronation's happening. So when it be king.
So it's shortly before the wedding.
Yeah, so that's before season
wedding,
4.
right?
That's before the current season, right?
No, it's after the Purple Wedding. The Purple Wedding's happened.
Yeah.
Purple Wedding happened at the end of episode 3, where you kind of hear that Cersei scream. She's like, "Joffrey!"
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was getting the things confused because Tommen was sworn in before Tommen married Marjorie, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was the same time.
No, because remember
No,
that she goes into his room and she's like, I could be your wet dream. And he's like, oh, yeah.
And, I mean, I know that they kind of, like, limited on getting so many, like, actors in the studio, but just get fucking Lena Headey back in to do Cersei Lannister lines or something.
Yeah.
Because it teased her in the preview for episode 5. I'm just like, why is she not in episode 4? Like, she should be that, in every episode of Mira Forrester's storyline, because she's the most interesting character in Game of Thrones. Just for like how cunning it is. I mean, even the shows now in season 5, like it's kind of reaching the pinnacle of her storyline so far.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, why are you not kind of getting her in for it? Because I could have given more spice to Mira's storyline.
If I had to guess, dude, budget. Like, it's already a big thing. They have Marjorie and they have, like those people. Like, there's like a certain amount of people they can have. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if that's it for Tyrion. I bet that's it. He's not going to appear.
No, I think he was in a preview, kind of like where he was standing behind someone for the next episode, so he might have one more.
Oh, right, yeah. But I mean, we'll see. Maybe he will have a line. But it could be. I mean, if it's not next episode, if it wasn't already that he's gone, I'm sure after next episode he'll be gone, because I think this Telltale, this Telltale series is supposed to be post Red Wedding, then set throughout season. Hold on. Season 4 is going on right now, right? Of Game of Thrones?
Yeah. So we are in season 5 of Game of Thrones right now.
Okay, the TV, right.
Yeah, season 5.
Okay, so then the Red Wedding happened end of season 3. So, yeah, this game series is supposed to take place right after season 3, literally during the finale, then during all of season 4, and then a little bit of the current season we're in right now. So... Yeah. I don't know if Tomlin, right? I don't know if Tomlin, wow. I don't know if Tomlin is... Tomlin, Uncle Tomlin! I don't know if Tomlin is going to be, married to... I was about to say Marjorie. Thank you. I was about to say Margarita.
Margarita.
the hot redhead. I don't know if he's going to marry her
with
yet.
Cheese.
That's their son's name, Cheese. Come here, Parmesan.
Do you think Mira's going to reunite with the Forresters?
What was that?
Mira.
Do you think she's going to reunite with the Forresters by episode 6? Because I think in episode 5, she might be kicked out, possibly, because she's confronting with Cersei again.
I think if the dude could leave Castle Black, that dude could leave, then she's going to be able to leave and reunite.
See, the Mira thing's interesting
to do.
Because that's interesting because Mira could go on the run in episode 6, and if this is a second season they have planned for it, then it could be more interesting.
Mm-hmm.